allow me to eat this apple so I look like more of an asshole. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me eat an apple. I'll save that for when we're done. Welcome to tonight's Smackdown review for January 24th, 2017. Woohoo! The final go-home show. Last night was the go-home show for Raw. This is the go-home show before the Rumble. Damn apple. This is the official go-home episode that is being produced by the WWE before the Royal Rumble, which takes place Sunday from the San Antonio Alamo Dome on the 29th. So it's going to be interesting, but this is our go-home show, and this is your review. We're going to give an overview. I'm going to tell you what I think right now, just so that way, because there's people out there that want to know right now. SmackDown was pretty good. Wasn't anything amazing. Had its moments. Just like Raw. Wasn't a horrible show. Wasn't a great show. It's a show. SmackDown was a good show. Wasn't a great show. Wasn't a horrible show. Wasn't really a bad show. It was just they delivered. They did what they needed to do, and that's all you can ask for. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go over SmackDown, make it fairly quick and simple, you know, so that way I'm not taking up too much of your time. I wouldn't want to do that as it is. So we start off Daniel Bryan and The Miz complaining about how he doesn't have his own dressing room, so he decides he wants to complain to The Miz, or sorry, he wants to complain to Bryan about it. Of course, he was sitting there with an apple, and Bryan was there to eat that apple to look like more of an asshole. Anyway, we're done with the apple. So anyway, he decides that he wants his own private, dressing room. Obviously, he doesn't get that. Bryan decides to make a joke and saying, "I can go and I can reserve you a stall in the men's bathroom." Do a big laugh between the two of them, and then he decides that he's going to give him his rematch for the IC title tonight. And surprisingly enough, Miz was pleasantly surprised and offered to make it a no disqualification match, to which Bryan refused that, but he decided to make it a lumberjack match, since previously he had mentioned that he is basically the one paying for every male superstar's salaries because of him. So he said, alright, why don't we go ahead and we put them all around the ring and they can be there for your match. So this is the first lumberjack match we've had in a while. I feel like it's been a year or so. Maybe more, maybe less. I'm not sure. But, it's the first lumberjack match we've had on SmackDown Live. I can at least guarantee you that one. But it's the first one we've had in a while. And, these lumberjack matches can be very hit or miss. But they almost always come around this time of the year. And we will get to that at the end of the review. But okay, so we'll get to that. So anyway, after that, we have our traditional opening, and then we start off with the Orton and Harper match. I didn't think this was going to be the main event. I highly doubted it was going to be. But I didn't think it would be the opening match. Ends up being the opening match. Match was pretty good. It wasn't anything, amazing. Nothing major happened. It wasn't, well, during the match, nothing major happened. Finish, Harper tries to go for a spinning clothesline, eats an RKO, 1, 2, 3, Randy Orton wins the match, and then Bray Wyatt ends up laying out Harper after the match with a Sister Abigail. So JBL kind of just let that off as harsh pun, tough love. So is it going to lead to dissension? Don't know. Don't think so. It'll probably happen eventually. Doubt it's going to happen until probably after the Rumble. It depends on what's going to happen in the Rumble itself. So, but right now all three are in the Rumble. So we'll go from there and we'll find out later. So, but I expect the Wyatts to at least have some kind of cohesion during the match itself. I feel like I can see Harper eliminating Orton in the match, or vice versa, but we'll get into that later in the week, because when we do our Rumble breakdown, I'm gonna go over all that, so we'll get to that then. Then we cut to the table, the 4-man booth, because we need 4 people at an announce booth for some reason. Not much to tell here, but per usual, David Otunga is dressed completely different than the rest of the announce team, who are in suits and ties. Swear to God, I feel like Otunga probably sat there and raided his wife's closet, because who comes out in from what I could tell, a nice sparkly wool sweater with a nice sparkly wool scarf? Jericho would be flabbergasted at your outfit, Otunga, but what are you going to do? Following up that, we have Mickie James getting interviewed by Renee Young in the ring, and she asks why she decided to help Bliss last week in order for her to retain her title in the cage match, which was okay. We're not going to get into that. And she said that she feels that all these women, Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, they're talking about the women's revolution, and she doesn't understand why they feel like it's just them that started the revolution, when Mickie James is well established in and of herself as a 5-time women's champion and a former Divas champion. And she feels like Becky in particular is just kind of ignoring that factor that, there was competent women's wrestling when she was around, and that Alexa Bliss is proving to, in her own sense, knows about every championship reign that Mickie James had, followed her career to a T, knew everything she needed to do, and all that other bullshit. And she feels like Alexa Bliss understands and should be more respected, because she's sitting here and acknowledging that there were people before her, even though every single diva has acknowledged that there was pioneers before them. Surprisingly enough, a lot of them never mentioned Mickie James, which probably works into this whole narrative, but anyway, Becky comes out, she runs out, and she attacks James, who then attempts to flee the scene by going over the barricade into the audience. Once she does that, she gets attacked by Alexa Bliss, who is waiting for her to come out and take her back in the ring, and they continue to attack her. And eventually we get around to Mickie James stating something that I think is very key that a lot of people probably aren't going to notice, but it's something that you should pay attention to, in that she said, always remember to be thinking at least one step ahead. And I feel like that right there indicates why Mickie James is aligning herself with Alexa Bliss. This is very similar to when she debuted way back in the day. She aligned herself with Trish Stratus. She was just over obsessed with her, which led to their feud at WrestleMania, which led to her first women's title reign. I feel like that's where this is going eventually. Probably a lot faster, because things were done a little more organically back then. It was a slow burn. I feel like as soon as after the Royal Rumble, I don't think it'll happen immediately. I feel like there's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mickie versus Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. I would not be shocked. There's also the rumor of Nikki Bella being involved and Becky being involved in a fatal 4-way that's been thrown around. As much as I would like to think that, if we're going to have a if we're going to have a 6-women tag match at the Royal Rumble with, who was it? With Nikki, returning Naomi, who returned tonight also, and Becky versus Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya at the Royal Rumble, because obviously the women's title is not being defended at the Royal Rumble. Don't be surprised. I mean, seriously, don't be surprised if we eventually get Mickie James versus Alexa Bliss at either the Elimination Chamber, which I highly doubt because it's a little quick. But I'm imagining that Elimination Chamber is going to have Nikki versus Natalya in some type of stipulation match. Maybe not. I don't know. And then I just feel like it's going to be Mickie James versus Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber. And I would not be shocked if somehow between then and WrestleMania we're going to see Mickie James actually turn on Alexa Bliss and attempt to get the title, because that's just... I just say it's gut feeling. It's gut feeling right now. Anyway, back to what we were at. Next we have Carmella and James Ellsworth. Or Ellsworthless. But we're going to go with Ellsworth. They had a segment where they're at some boutique or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's a boutique in Toledo. I don't fucking know. But them trying to make him look fancier, or trying to get him some new dreads, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. This whole segment was stupid. I hated it. It was retarded. But I will say this. If I have to suffer through a 2-3 minute promo video with these two instead of seeing them on live TV, and Carmella having a useless squash match and Ellsworth getting involved in some dumbass way, I will take it. But this was dumb as hell. They happened to fit in a nice little dig at Sami Zayn in this, where she was sitting there telling Ellsworth that he looked ridiculous, basically. And he's like, I thought I looked like Sami Zayn. I think he looks pretty cool. And then Carmella's like, oh, whatever. So, nice little dig at Sami Zayn. Let's just play up the underdog role. But, like I said, this segment was worthless. There was no point to it. She dressed him so he looked fabulous. And his fucking gold whatever shirt and his funky hat and all, looking like Enzo's reject. So... Anyway, after that, we had a battle royal for an entry into the Royal Rumble. Get this. This was a way for somebody to get entered in the Royal Rumble that would not normally get in. Still, Sami Zayn had for Seth Rollins, one of the top guys on Raw, whereas these guys just have to face each other to get into the match. Mind you, this was all the tag teams that weren't the Usos or American Alpha. This had the Vaudevillains. This had freaking Slater and Rhino. It had... Mojo Rawley without Zack Ryder, obviously. And this set up purposely to where it became blatantly obvious as soon as this match started. You had Breezango, and then you also had the Ascension. I believe that was all that was in. And I'm pretty sure that was all that was in there. This was set up perfectly for Mojo to win, because he's the only technical singles guy that was in this match. Oh, and apparently the WWE seriously hates the Vaudevillains, because as soon as this match started, both of them went over the top rope. I mean, at the same fucking time. Both over the top rope. Apparently Simon Gotch really pissed off the higher-ups. Really pissed them off, because they have never... I think if you compiled all their matches together over the last year, it's probably longer than a cruiserweight match. And that's saying something. But anyway, it was basically set up for Mojo Rawley to win. Of course, he ended up winning. Baron Corbin was on commentary. He sounded soft as fuck on this. I don't know why. He didn't sound as menacing as he usually does. He sounded overly confident. Don't get me wrong on that, but he just sounded too vanilla. I mean, he sounded a lot more natural. Sounded like he wasn't scripted at all, really. But he sounded too soft for his character. His character is supposed to be this lone wolf, and he's supposed to be dark, and he's supposed to be demented. Well, not dark and demented, but he's supposed to have an edge to him and all this other stuff, and he just sounded too soft. And he was like, yeah, he was talking like he was having a casual conversation, and that's just not his character. So I don't know what was up with that, but whatever. But it is what it is. And like I said, Mojo Rawley earns his spot in the Rumble. So that was the last entrant that got entered into the Royal Rumble before the end of the night. So, like I said, I'll give you a rundown who's all in it right now, and then when we get to the video later on this week, then we'll go and we'll delve into everything and who I think is going to make their appearances, potential spoilers, all that other bullshit. So anyway, then we go to a scene that happened earlier in the day where Nikki was talking to their interviewee person. I don't even know what her name is, but no one cares. No one fucking cares what her name is. But she's talking to her about how John Cena did not help her to get where she was while they're outside next to the two production trucks. Coincidentally enough, Big Match John is on the side of the production truck, and right next to Big Match John on the same production truck is a big, huge photo of Nikki Bella, and she's like, maybe it's destiny. I don't know. Whatever. You can say whatever the fuck you want. The only reason Nikki got pushed was because of John Cena, because they weren't doing jack squat before that. I mean, they had their little spits and spiels here and there, but she would not have been the longest reigning Divas champion in WWE history if it wasn't because she was with John Cena. I'm sorry. That's just a fact. It's a 100% fact. That, and they wanted to stick it to CM Punk too, but that's a completely different issue. During this, Natty came out, attacked her, threw her into the production truck, smacked her face off of it. It's just out of fun karma, whatever. But Natty as a heel, hell of a lot better than Natty as a tweener or as a babyface. She does a hell of a lot better as a heel. She needs to stay a heel. It would be more fantastic for her. She's doing some pretty damn good work, and I'm liking it. Then we get AJ calling out John Cena. Don't know why this needs to be promoted before the commercial break. As AJ calls out John Cena. Why can't AJ just come the hell out and call him out? We don't need a title card or a promo state. Hey, AJ, when you come back, AJ is going to call out John Cena. Why don't you just say, next up, AJ Styles does whatever. AJ Styles interview, or just go to commercial, talk about the main event, come back, and then AJ Styles comes out. Perfectly fine. We don't need to have a promo telling us he's going to call out John Cena. Just, I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, he comes out. First thing he decides to do is he got asked on Twitter multiple times about the poster and if he was pissed off about how he's just tucked back way in the corner. Decides to troll everybody, brings that up, points out that John Cena is not front and center, but, because The Undertaker's front and center on this poster, followed by Goldberg and Lesnar, and then you've got John Cena over there, and you got AJ Styles way in the back, and you can see it, and you see that. Oh, yeah, there he is, that handsome little devil way back there. You can see that, and he was talking about how he's pissed off about how your WWE champion is tucked way in the back, but the challenger has got, super front-faced whatever. Anyway, so he goes about that, and he was going to talk about how he saw this thing on TV, but he waited for John Cena, so he called John Cena out. John Cena comes out to some new swag, as always, because, new season, new swag. It's John Cena. We got to keep up. We got to keep up with fashion trends, so we got to change it up every so often. He comes out happy as always, because he always likes to be Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. I've noticed that Cena tends to lose more often when he's overly happy. When he's more serious, he tends to win more often. Not that it's implying it's going to happen at the Rumble, but happy Cena doesn't always win. But anyway, claims 50,000 people. So anyway, they go to the Today Show segment, and apparently Al Roker and his co-host, or whoever the hell it is, some guy, or that guy from Atlanta, is who you're going to face at the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles, mind you, is that guy from Atlanta, is who they kept referring to him as on the Today Show, and of course Cena's not going to correct him. He's like, yeah, that guy from Atlanta, there's that guy from Atlanta. Yeah, ooh, that guy from Atlanta. The whole time. And who's going to win? Oh, well, comments, I'm going to win. Just like Tom Brady and the Patriots. Yeah. AJ Styles got pissed off about that, decides to go and point this out. And then during this same thing, John Cena's talking about how, he's going to go out there and win the WWE Championship in front of 50,000 people in the Alamo Dome. Apparently, nobody knows how many people are going to be at this event. Roman Reigns says 40,000. John Cena says 50,000. Fucking all the commercials say 70, 80,000. Capacities at 71,000 according to, their site and all this other shit. How many people are going to be at this event? 2? 50 million? Because nobody apparently has any general idea of how many people are going to be in the Alamo Dome. So, maybe, and I don't know, it's just weird. But anyway, screw it. It'll probably be inflated more than what it actually is, because WWE, and they like to inflate their numbers. Anyway, like I said, Cena goes ahead and does his promo. I am not a big fan of these one-sided promos. I really am not. I hate them. When there's back and forth, there's a lot more you can get out of it. You know, you get more tension. You get more, you know, conversations. I mean, hell, the small amount that freaking Goldberg and Paul Heyman bickered back and forth. That little bit adds more tension and more to it than if one person talks, does a long-ass promo, doesn't say anything, the other person does a long-ass promo, and then that's it. Because whoever does the second promo always looks better. Always. AJ has his long-ass promo talking about how he wants respect, how he doesn't know how, after all the things he's done, he hasn't earned enough respect in the WWE. Then we go to John Cena, talks about, everybody talks about respect. I came out here for a decade and earned it. You've held shit down for 6 months. I held it down for a decade. Blah, blah, blah. You guys you come out here and talk about how you're being held down and how I bury you and how I'm better and all this other shit and whatever. Cena does his thing, basically sits here and says that I'm better than you and I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to show up at the Rumble. You're going to lose. End of story. Boom. Mic drop. Cena walks out of the ring. It is whatever it is. Anyway, Dolph Ziggler has his match after this promo against Kalisto. Squash match. I actually turned away to do something on my phone. Turned back. The match was over. Dolph Ziggler now gets squash matches. Apparently his new attitude is a massive change from what's going to happen. So, Dolph Ziggler is probably, I'm not going to say for sure. I feel like Dolph Ziggler is going to have a match with Apollo Crews on the pre-show because no matches were announced for the pre-show on SmackDown, unlike anything else. So, yeah, I feel like we're going to have a Apollo Crews Dolph Ziggler match because Ziggler seems to want to hit everybody with chairs, and I'm feeling that's just where we're going with this. So after that, Naomi came back. Surprise. Supposed to have a match with Natty. Didn't happen. Nikki attacked Natty in the backstage area, beat the shit out of her before the match. Of course, usually when that happens. So Naomi's like, okay, fine. Well, I came out here for a match, so if anybody in the back wants to come out here and have a match, then bring at it. A lot of times they use this to debut somebody. Didn't happen. Alexa Bliss came out. Did some great heel work, sitting there mocking her, saying, who are you? You've been gone for 3 months. What makes you think you deserve anything? Teases she's going to defend her title against her. Backs off. Goes out. That's the end of it. So, yeah, Naomi's back. Didn't do jack shit. Does anyone care? Not really. And then after that, we have the Lumberjack match, which was the main event for the evening. Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz in a fantastically average match. Sorry, it was. So, in the grand scheme of things, the match wasn't bad. It was more or less to build up the hype for the Royal Rumble. Every year, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, always has some big, huge multi-man match, and it always turns into a big-ass brawl, and it always ends up where everybody's throwing everybody out of the ring, and eventually you have one person that overstands everybody. At the end, in the end, Dean Ambrose wins, hits a Dirty Deeds, 1, 2, 3, da-da-da-da-da-da. I was really expecting a little more. I expected a brawl to happen and Corbin to be the victorious one at the end of this, but it is what it is. I do like that the IC title was on last. Adds more prestige to the title as from where it is right now. Obviously, it's gaining prestige as time keeps going, getting main event spots and all that other stuff. It's fantastic. Overall, SmackDown was okay. Nothing amazing. Kind of boring. It is what it is. So anyway, just to update everybody. All the confirmed entrants for the Royal Rumble right now, after SmackDown has aired, you have The Undertaker, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Big E, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Braun Strowman, Chris Jericho, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Luke Harper, Big Show, Big Cass, Rusev, and Mojo Rawley. Those are your confirmed entrants into the Rumble. That's 22. That means that there's 8 spots right now, and probably up until Sunday, because there's always surprise entrants, there's always returns, there's always debuts. There's 8. Count that. There's 8 right now that is not accounted for. We're going to go over this. Not right now. I've got to give you reasons to come back to the channel. So, and I would love if you guys hit that subscribe button. So that's what it's there for. You know, and if you want to hear about who I think is going to be those surprise entrants for the Royal Rumble, who you think is going to return, you have to tune in later this week, probably tomorrow, because it requires less research and it requires me just to give you what I think and what I know based off of all the research I've been doing on Wrestling Amino, which you should check out the app on the iTunes store or on the Android market or whatever. It's Wrestling Amino. My screen name is going to be in the description below. Make sure to go ahead and add me and read up on the Royal Rumble 30-30-30 blog series that I'm running right now. We're up to number 11. Will I get to 30 before Sunday? Probably not. Am I going to do all 30? Yes, I damn well sure am going to do all 30. So if you want to learn about the Royal Rumble, learn some interesting facts about it, about each entrant, and you want to get a nice little review about each Rumble from the 1988 Rumble all the way up to last year, and including coming up in this year's Royal Rumble, make sure to follow me on Wrestling Amino. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at LPscottyLP. You can also support my Patreon so we can get better equipment and we can do things that make it seem a little better and I can have more time to do shit. So make sure you actually go there. Everything else is in the description below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video if you like it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like the content. I do a hell of a lot better when I'm not trying to go through notes. I'm more of a freestyler. I like to sit here and just kind of give you the information that you need. I'm not one to be prone to sitting here and reading shit off a computer. I'm also not the type to sit here and go through notes. I can give you more in-depth analysis, and I can really sit there and be more articulate when I'm talking about certain things, when it's more or less me just talking about it as compared to me going back over notes that I took. I use them for pinpoints for the most part, but trust me, my craft will be better as time goes by. I have to get more practice. You have to understand that. Fuck you if you have that big of a problem with it. With that being said, we will be going over the Royal Rumble, and we'll be talking about all the entrants, where I think they're going to come out, how long I think they're going to last, who's going to have the most eliminations, who's going to probably be the short man on the stick, who's going to get the shortest time in the Rumble, who I think is going to be the eventual Iron Man, who I think is going to have, who we're going to have in the Final Four, who I think is going to be the last eliminated, who I think is going to eventually end up winning, and who I think is going to be debuting, returning, or just surprise entrant in general, whatever you want to call it. We'll go over all that either tomorrow or Thursday. It just depends. Probably Thursday. Thursday seems like a good day. Yeah, we're going to do it on Thursday. So make sure to tune in on Thursday where we're going to do our Royal Rumble wrap-up, and we're going to go over everything, and we're going to do all that shit. And then make sure to tune in on Sunday night after the Royal Rumble where we're going to review all 6 fucking hours. 6 hours. I'm still pissed about that. I don't want to sit here for 6 hours and watch the Royal Rumble because I already know it's going to be shit for most of it. I really only want to watch the Rumble match. The only reason I really love the Royal Rumble is just for that match. Because 9 times out of 10, Roman Reigns is going to win. So, I mean, shit. Who cares about the rest of the card? But, anyway, thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like and share and subscribe button. And I will see you guys on Thursday where we're going to go over everything that you need to know before we get to Royal Rumble Sunday in the Alamo Dome. So make sure to tune in to our fantastic and most informative fucking video about the Royal Rumble that you will find anywhere on YouTube. And I can guarantee you that because I do the research and I have the notes and I have everything. And I guarantee you that my analysis is probably going to be the best one out there. So make sure you tune in on Thursday and we're going to have all that information. And if you want to sit there and use that information for any type of financial gains, go ahead. Because I can bet you that my information is going to be probably the best you're going to find. we'll see you on Thursday. Let's talk to you guys then.